Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's episode we're going to be taking a look at the unofficial Windows 98 2nd Edition Service Pack 3. Now this is a pack that I briefly mentioned in my last video, which was actually on this AcidJazz NAS right here, which was very generously sent out to me by AcidJazz so I could do that video and a couple of future videos on. Now I had to install part of this patch, or one of the components of this service pack, in that video to fix an issue with the Windows 98 PC not being able to log in to the NAS to be able to copy and read files from it. You know, I mentioned the possibility of making a future video on it, and some of you guys said yes, you'd love to see a full video on this patch or this service pack, so that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So I'll have the download link to this patch down below if you want to go and check it out, but this is the website for it right here. It's over at htasoft.com, and just to show you the main website here, luckily because it is a pretty basic site here, you can access it in Internet Explorer 5.0 here, as you can see. And when you get to the main page, you want to click on this link right here, W98SE Updates. And when you get here, you want to click on this link to take you to, and this actually is not the download page yet. This is the page that has some more information, even more info, and it has the changelog here as well, which we'll get into in a moment. So right here is the download page. When you click on this, it brings you to a thread over on techtalk.cc, which luckily we can also access here in IE5, though the page is pretty broken, as is expected for more modern websites running in older browsers here. But we can download the file here, so you want to download this executable right here, which according to this page was last updated on March 19th, 2021. So you click on it here, and you'll be able to download it right here from IE5, which is pretty great. Now, I already have it downloaded, so we're just going to close out of this. But even though that it says it was updated on March 19th, 2021, there's a bit of ambiguity regarding if this is the correct date or not. Because if we go back to the changelog page here and scroll down a bit past this disclaimer, right here it says most recent updates, November 27th, 2020. It also says this version will not be released to the public, which is interesting because this version was released to the public. You can download version 3.66 right now, so I'm not sure if this is referring to something else, if this was referring to another version and the author just forgot to remove this from this page here. And this date is obviously different than the date that we have on the download page. Now, I would guess that the date on the download page is correct, and this might be referring to version 3.65. But even if this is the release date, I mean, that is still incredibly recent for an unofficial service pack for Windows 98. Though this only works on Windows 98 2nd Edition. It is not intended to be installed on 98 1st Edition. And the author says that right here. It's for Windows 98 SE only, not for any other version of Windows 98. So you want to keep that in mind, and the author highly emphasizes you to read this disclaimer and read the prerequisites that you need to have before you install this. And he obviously points out that this is not in any way official Microsoft software. Microsoft actually did not release any service packs for Windows 98 2nd Edition, and I assume from the name here, because I was able to find references in a couple of forum threads to Windows 98 2nd Edition Unofficial Service Pack 2. So my guess is this is the third unofficial service pack. There were two more prior to it. I'm not sure if they were all released by the same person or if they were released by different authors, but either way, that is the name chosen, and version 3.66 is the newest version. And no, if you're wondering, I thought too that maybe it started out with Service Pack 1.1 and the author just gradually updated it to 2.0 and then to 3.0. If you go to the Wayback Machine and you find the earliest snapshot of the download page for this here, even back then it refers to it as the Unofficial Service Pack 3. So I believe that was the name the author went with from the very beginning. Now, you might be wondering, okay, what exactly does this Unofficial Service Pack have to offer? Well, in short, it offers a lot. I mean, there are a lot of improvements that this service pack makes to the system. A lot of those take the form of under-the-hood improvements. It updates some files, adds some registry keys. It even removes, at least over time here, some registry keys and things have been removed from the pack as well. You can see right here, for example, all these registry keys were removed in this update. So it makes a lot of under the hood improvements, but it also adds some additional functionality and some cosmetic improvements as well. And we'll be touching on a lot of that in today's video. One of the most notable improvements that it makes is it fixes Windows 98's RAM cap, which is normally 512 megabytes. So if you try to, without having this patch installed, try to install more than 512 megabytes of RAM in a Windows 98 system, you will run into issues. And that's essentially because the computer doesn't know how to handle more than 512 megabytes of RAM without this patch installed. So I will again have this link down below if you want to go read up on this, and if you want to read through the changelog and familiarize yourself with all of the various improvements that have been made over the years. But we're going to minimize this page right now and get on with the installation of the Unofficial Service Pack. So I've got the file right here. If we go to properties, it comes in at 120 megabytes. So there you go. We're going to go ahead and run it here. Now the first thing it does is it comes up with this disclaimer and lets you know again that this is not Microsoft software, it is unofficial, and the author recommends that you back up any important system files before you install any of these patches here. So we're going to click on yes to accept the terms, and it's going to initialize here. It has to just extract a couple of files because this is a self-extracting archive here, and you get this very nice artwork as well. Unofficial Microsoft Windows 98 2nd Edition Service Pack 3 looks very, very, very nice, and you can see our computer's actually slowing down here. And once that finishes, we get presented with this help documentation right here. So this is very useful to read through because it gives you even more information about the service pack. So right here under overview, it says Unofficial Windows 98 2nd Edition Service Pack 3 includes almost all previously official, unofficial hotfixes, updates, and add-ons for the Windows 98 SE operating system. This update package will help increase system stability, performance, functionality, and most of all, speed. Read this CHM help file for more details. Report all issues here. So you once again have that disclaimer about the fact that this is not a Microsoft product, use at your own risk, etc. Hey, it's Future Michael here, and you notice anything about this shot right here that stands out to you? Yeah, my friends, that's Comic Sans. I think that's actually the best use for it, to use at your own risk. Yeah, you should definitely use the Comic Sans font at your own risk. So you need a minimum of 64 megabytes of RAM for the main updates and 350 megabytes of free hard disk space for all options. Now, the author makes this distinction because you can't just go in, like when it presents you with that list of components, you can't go in and select all of them and click install. You're going to run into problems. So you have to follow along with this step-by-step guide here. You don't have to do all of these. For example, if you don't want to install Microsoft Office or 98SC to ME and the Revolution Pack and Kernel X, which we're not going to be doing this in this video here, but we are going to be following steps 1 through 6. Obviously, we've already done step 1, which is install Windows 98 2nd Edition. I've done step 2 as well, install all drivers for your hardware, and I've actually installed Internet Explorer as well. So we've done steps 1 through 3 already, and likely if you're looking at this page, you've probably done steps 1 through 3 as well. So next thing we have to do is install the latest Service Pack 3, just the main updates. Then we have to restart and install DirectX 9.0C, and then come back and install the optional components that we want to get. So like I said, this pack makes some cosmetic improvements as well. You might be wondering what those are. Well, the first thing has to do with the boot and shutdown logos because they get modified. Not a whole lot. The text 2nd Edition is added to the bottom right under Windows 98, which is something I'm kind of surprised Microsoft never did. They never modified the boot screen for 98 2nd Edition, but here you go. So this will modify it for you. It also modifies the start menu banner because the start menu does not say 98 2nd Edition, just Windows 98, so it adds the 2nd Edition text. And one of the more notable things is it adds the icons from Windows Me / Windows 2000 to the operating system. You can see these are the default 98 icons here, so it adds those icons, which is pretty nice. It also adds some backgrounds here, one from Plus 98, one from Windows 2000, and one from Windows Me. You've got that changelog once again, you've got bugs and fixes here, and you've got a list of the contributors that have made this project possible. So there you go. So once you read through this document, you want to just close out of it here, and then it will bring up this list of components. So as it said, we're only going to get the core components. Now, this is where it can get kind of confusing because you would expect like the first thing you install to be at the top, or better yet, you not even be able to install any of this other stuff before you install the core components, but it's not that way. You just have a list of components here, and you would have to scroll down, well, not scroll down, but go down to main updates / system core files, check this, and then you click on OK. And now it will install just that. We'll have to reboot the system and then go back into that launcher or that application there to choose the optional components that we want. Alright, well, I know you guys aren't going to believe this, but that didn't work. Yeah, can you believe we ran into a problem in an MJD video? Yeah, it seems like we always do. I'm just kind of used to it around here. So what ended up happening was the installer wasn't doing anything. It just essentially had frozen, and I opened up Task Manager and it showed the process as not responding. So I ended up closing or, terminating the process. And I thought that maybe this had something to do with the fact that I installed that one patch in the NAS video before I installed the main updates that the author says you have to do before you install anything else. So I was like, okay, let's just reinstall Windows 98. So I ended up doing a clean install of Windows 98. I just downloaded the patch again, as you can see here, the service pack, and we're going to try it again. And just to compare notes, essentially, I looked up other people's videos on this unofficial service pack, and every single one of them, when they went to install it, when the list of packages came up, they just checked a bunch of them and clicked on install. And, that's not what the help document says to do. In fact, the author commented on one of those videos and said you're supposed to install that main set of updates first. Now, all of them were able to still install their, the packages that they selected, but you can run into issues. So we're just going to close out of this and, go back here and run the setup. But I mean, it would be nice if it displayed, like if it didn't give you any of those other options until you installed the first package that you're supposed to install, or at least put that at the very top of the list. And yeah, you probably have noticed that those hard drive lights on the NAS are blinking. I am downloading something to the NAS right now as I'm speaking. And that's going to be for a future video, and I'm sure a lot of you who saw the last video know what that one's about, so stay tuned. But yeah, we're currently extracting sup.cap. Anyways, here we go. We're at the command prompt again, and once it finishes this extract process here, which is what it's doing right now, it's extracting the CHM file. It should open up that CHM file. Okay, so we got this again. We're going to close out of it. We'll be presented with that list. Here we are. And we're going to install main updates / system core files and click on OK. And we'll see what it does. And so far it is already doing the same thing it did before. So it minimizes the INFEX window. And it is still the active window, but we don't have any progress bars, nothing. What I ended up doing in the last video is I just left it on, I just left it like this for 5 to 10 minutes, and I just waited. But eventually when I press Control-Alt-Delete, and yeah, you can see it's not responding right now. This is exactly what it was doing before. This is what you're supposed to do. See, we're already I mean, that's what it says in the text document and on the website. It says you're supposed to do the core files first, the core updates, before you install everything else. But the program has frozen. So we'll just let it sit here for a little bit, and we'll see if it recovers, but that's already not a good sign. So it's been a couple minutes, and yeah, we still haven't gotten anywhere. It is still not responding. And just if you're wondering, this is the same thing that happened in my virtual machine, that's running Windows 98. This exact same thing happened. So we're just gonna have to end the task and watch what will happen. It'll come up and say you have to restart your system. but it didn't install anything, so we're just going to say no, because there's no point. And one of the other downsides to this is it doesn't, when it extracts all those files, I believe it stores them in a temporary directory somewhere, which we could go looking for, but it's not like easily accessible on the desktop or in the programs menu here or anything. I mean, it's not like it's installing a program, so you have to run this again and let it extract everything. So just to verify, we're going to go down to instructions, and it says, after you install Windows 98 2nd Edition, which we've install all drivers for your hardware, which we've done, IE's already installed, install latest Service Pack 3 main updates, which is what we just tried to do. Then you're supposed to install DirectX 9.0C, which I'm currently copying a copy of Chameleon, which is a browser that I took a look at in this video, if you want to go and check it out. Chameleon is it's an older browser, or it's not an older browser, but it's a browser that supports older operating systems like Windows 98 natively, without having to apply any compatibility layers or anything. So we can open it up here. We're going to load Chameleon. I believe this is an older version. Oh, isn't that great? Oh, here it is. This is the one you have to run, right? No, it's still not. I am trying so hard to avoid having to go to my main computer and burn a disk. I could very easily just burn a disk with Chameleon or with whatever files on it, but I already had this one. I've got these other browsers here. I mean, did I ever do, I don't think I did a video. I think this was a planned video that I scrapped. I was going to try to do like a bunch of browsers on the, oh no, I think this was with the old net. When I tried to use the old net on this computer, I believe I took a look at these browsers. You see we got kernel X right here. I'm doing all this, by the way, so that I can install DirectX 9.0C without having to go to my main computer and burn another CD. I could just use that one patch again that I know works from the service pack here to try to just copy it over to the NAS, which we may end up doing that, but I'm just trying to see if I can use this disk that I already have just to install a browser so that I can literally browse to a download page to get, just to get this file. I think this version of Opera might work without kernel X. I think it might. We'll accept. Next. Okay, add Opera. Yeah, that's fine. Install. Okay, this is looking good. This page would load in Internet Explorer, but when you go to download, it would look like it's going to download the file, but then it just tries to download a PHP document. So, I mean, like, the browser is supposed to download the PHP page, but it's supposed to display it. It's not supposed to, like, show it to you as a file download. Yay! There we go. So we're just going to save that. Now you see all of these say install separately. Or not all of them, but you have these few here that say install separately. What I initially thought you had to do was install all of the ones that don't say install separately, and like you can bundle those together. That's what I initially thought. So that's what I tried to do. But that it installed some of the things, but it errored out at a certain point. The other annoying thing is once you install something, it doesn't disappear from this list. Like, it doesn't detect that it's installed. So that can be confusing. Like, if you already install, say, this one here, this will still show up in here. It won't be checked or like grayed out or anything. It'll still show up in here. So I really think I'm just going to move on to installing DirectX because this is not working. I mean, this should be working. We should be able to install this package here, but we can't. So what we'll try to do is when DirectX finishes downloading here, I will install DirectX. We'll just try this again just to see if maybe, in fact, you know what? While DirectX is downloading, let's just do this again. Okay, and see if maybe, just maybe, something changes, but I highly doubt that's going to make a difference at all. So we'll just select that. We've got INFEX down here. Let's try it again. Control-Delete. I guarantee you it's going to say not responding. There you go. Not responding. So we've got about a minute left here, and you can see that the Unofficial Service Pack 3 is still not responding. So we're just going to end that task there, and it's going to ask us to restart. We'll just say no because it didn't do anything. And we've got 25 seconds, just about. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can see we get a very similar looking license agreement, by the way. We're going to extract it to, let's just do the desktop. There we go. Okay. Okay. Oh, the computer, what? The computer completely froze up. I have not had that happen in a while. I can't make this stuff up, guys. I mean, this is what happens. Like, this was supposed to be just a straightforward, like, okay, we're going to take a look at this cool pack today. But hey, hopefully this is still entertaining for you. I know that a lot of you guys, I mean, it's just kind of become like a running joke on this channel that everything goes wrong in these, like, even this, which is not, I mean, this isn't really a tech experiment video. This is just like a software demo. But at this point, I'm probably going to have to title this like, I tried to install the Unofficial Service Pack or something like that. Because this is going to be much longer than your traditional software review / overview. But hopefully we'll be able to take a look at least some components of it. So we're going to skip scan disk here because I know the hard drive is fine. And okay, we're back. So, I mean, do you want to try this again? I wonder if it extracted everything. It didn't. It didn't even extract a single thing. So let's try this again, and just maybe it'll work. Okay, I'm going to move the mouse around. I'm just going to continually move it so we can see when it locks up. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, it's slowing down. It's slowing down. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. I think it's doing it. So that was probably because I'm certain that has something to do with the Unofficial Service Pack running. I don't think it was, I mean, I think I had terminated the process at that point. Or maybe it was trying to terminate the process, but whatever. Okay, we're going to launch setup here, accept the agreement, next. And now we're copying those files. Okay, so at least DirectX is going to install. Though I shouldn't say that because that's another running gag on this channel. It seems like whenever I say, oh, this is going to work, guys, it just, like, immediately just something fails. So let's see if that happens here. I don't think it will. I think this is going to install properly. Okay, so it should ask us to restart, or it'll just restart automatically here for us. Yep. Okay, so we're back. Let's close on out of that help document, and let's just try this again. There it goes, not responding. I mean, I would think, because normally in the last video, in the NAS video, when I installed that update, it came up with essentially the same thing you would see when you would go to install like a driver and it says copying file from wherever. It comes up with that, right? But it just says copying from the Unofficial Service Pack to the Windows folder or wherever it's copying to. And we don't see that here. Okay, so let's forget talking about the main updates and just install some of the packages that I find interesting. So this is the package we installed before that allowed us to connect to the NAS. So I'm just going to install that. And we're going to get the animated boot up and shutdown logos. So this, it says right there, 2nd edition text added to the original Windows 98 boot up and shutdown logos. Okay. This one right here is pretty cool. This adds like you can save your icon layout and you can restore from it at like a later point in time. It adds it to the context menu. So that's pretty nice. Now this right here, you probably noticed it says 98 Lite users only. 98 Lite is another rabbit hole that we could dive down in a future video. So this right here you could use to install IE 5.5 SP2 with 98 Lite installed, because I believe you can remove Internet Explorer with 98 Lite. So we're gonna scroll down here and let's grab oh, here's DirectX 9. Pfft, really? It was in here the whole time? Oh, wow. Okay, so that actually makes sense. So you're supposed to install the main updates and then come back and install DirectX 9.0C from here. And you can see here you have a bunch of Microsoft programs because everything here is sorted by, it's alphabetized. So it starts at A and it goes down to Z, which we're not going to... Oh, we have zip folders actually. So here's all the Microsoft stuff here. So we could get, let's get Front Page Express. This is a HTML editor that allows you to create basic web pages. Pretty cool. We can get Outlook Express 6.0, sure. Reg Clean or Reg Clean. Now, yeah, pretty much all this Microsoft stuff you could have downloaded from Microsoft directly, but what's nice about this is it just brings it all into this one service pack, so you can just go through here and select what you want. This right here is pretty cool. This is a lightweight version of Microsoft Word 97. I actually haven't heard of this. Microsoft Word 97 SR2. Maybe Service Release 2? It does not support DocX files, which is the file format in Office 2007, which came out 10 years after this, but that's no big deal for us here. NTFS drivers for Windows 98 plus NTFS partition deleter lets you access NTFS drives as native volumes in Windows Explorer with additional tools to delete NTFS partitions. Performance tweaks. So this right here, it doesn't really exactly say what it is. It just says slight enhancements to improve some system stability. The interesting thing is the 512 megabyte of RAM cap removal that I talked about earlier, where this will allow you to install more than 512 megs of RAM. That is not a option in here. Like, there's nothing in here that says 512 megabytes of RAM. So my guess is it's either bundled in the main updates / system core files, or it's in the performance tweaks here. You've got a couple of other things. Remote desktop connection. This is very useful. Windows 98 does not come with remote desktop connection by default, and this is technically Terminal Services Client 5.2. You've got Tweak UI. Okay, Tweak UI, I did a video on the XP version of it back in 2019. I believe I touched on it in my Windows 95 Power Toys video. That's actually where Tweak UI got started. You've also got TrueType fonts. You can enable TrueType fonts or install them. You get 254 fonts. We'll also get the shell extension as well, which will allow you to display additional info when you go to the properties menu and you right click on a font file and go to properties. And right down here at the bottom, the one of the major things that I want to get is Windows Millennium Edition /2000 theme. Actually, this one says install separately, so we're not going to grab that one right now. We'll get that later on. But all of these here, I believe, do not say install separately. We're just going to verify that. So yeah, we're good there. Okay, so let's just click on OK. Now you see, this is what it's normally supposed to do. It's supposed to come up with this window right here that says it's copying files from Unofficial Windows 98 Service Pack 3, and it's going to scan for the destination, and then it'll copy all the files, hopefully without any errors. This is what it's supposed to do for those core files, but you can see it unfortunately doesn't do that. Okay, now we've got another DOS prompt window opened up here. It's running the extract command here, and okay, now this is another thing that happens, right? So this comes up and it'll say finished here, so it's finished extracting all this stuff, but it doesn't automatically close. So you have to, and this window was hidden behind this one. So I was actually installing this in a VM off camera before I even started making this video. And I got to this point, like I was trying to install, you know, some, like not the entire pack, right? But just like a couple of things. And this happened. And I thought that it had froze. And then I realized that, oh, there's this other DOS prompt window opened up that's finished. So we have to close out of it. And then it continues with its routine here. So that is another thing that, you know, you have to be on the lookout for in this pack here. So it's finished that. It should, yeah, there we go. Now it's back to the copying files screen here. And you can see we already have a new icon on the desktop for the registry cleaner. But INFEX is still running down here. I wonder if it's... oh, it's not responding again. But I mean, we can go here and let's just launch the registry cleaner. Here you go. But yeah, this is now doing the same thing. I wonder if it finished installing the core files, like the core updates, but it finished so quickly that it didn't even display any progress bar, and maybe we were supposed to restart. I mean, this is doing the same thing. It's not responding. So okay, we'll just end the task, and yes, we will restart. And there we go, Windows 98 2nd edition. Yeah, it's a very, very small modification, but it's still pretty cool. And like I said earlier, it's kind of surprising to me that Microsoft never modified the boot screen for 98 SE. I think even doing something like this, I mean, this is a very, very basic modification. You probably opened this up in MS Paint, you know, like the BMP file, and just typed in second. It's very simple to do, but Microsoft didn't do it. Like, I was, you know, honestly very surprised that they didn't even change the boot screen, because Windows 98 SE was a separate, like, it wasn't an update that you could download or get for free from Microsoft. It cost money. Even if you had 98 First Edition, you had to pay for it, though you could get it at a discount. You know, it was cheaper than just buying a whole new retail copy. But here you go. So we got an error loading Outlook, something related to Outlook, probably Outlook Express 6, which is what we installed. I mean, we already saw the registry cleaner. Let's see if Outlook Express if this is not the 6.0 icon. It cannot be started because msoe.dll could not be loaded. Huh, that sure isn't good. This does not look like a proper installation to me. Like, this is not a complete install. Probably has something to do with the fact that it froze. That would be my guess. But it installed Registry Cleaner, and if we go into the Start menu, actually, if we go into Control Panel, we should see Tweak UI. No, we don't have it? Interesting. It installed before. Okay, let's launch it again. Now, if I remember correctly, I believe one of the things I had trouble installing was the Windows 2000/ME theme, which, like I said, just changes the icons and it adds those additional wallpapers. But yeah, there you go. If you were wondering if it might have been normal for the installer, for that process to freeze once it finished its routine and you were supposed to just terminate it and then restart, which doesn't sound right at all. But if you were wondering if like that's what we were supposed to do for the initial package that I tried to install, no, you're not, because we killed the process this time around and we ended up with a incomplete installation of Outlook Express. I wonder if there's anything under bugs and fixes. It's just talking about, oh, did it install the Word? The portable version of Word? Internet Tools. Front Page Express. Okay, so something else installed. Front Page Express. This is the HTML editor. I was about to start typing HTML code, but this is not, you know, I mean, it is an HTML, like you can view, there's probably a way to view the HTML code. Like, I'm sure if I just type like, hello world, if I can spell correctly, hello world, and then we make this like bold, there should be a way to view HTML. There we go. Okay, so we can view the HTML. You could probably edit it too, like if I wanted to, yeah, just say world. Okay, yeah, so there you go. But okay, so at least that installed. That's great. That kind of reminds me of Netscape. Gosh, what was it called? Netscape. Was it Netscape Editor? It was bundled with Netscape Communicator. It was whatever the HTML editor was called. It kind of reminds me of that. I did a whole video on Netscape as well, if you're interested. But yeah, I'm not seeing whatever other. Just let me go back in here and verify, just so I don't. So that's why I know for sure. The name of the RDP client was, okay, Terminal Services Client 5.2. Let's just do a search for it, honestly. Okay, so we got two things in the Windows folder about the online services. Oh, it's just online services. But we got some of the stuff at least. So let's see if we can install the Windows Me/2000 theme. I highly doubt this is going to work. Already not looking promising. It looks like the process is frozen. Yes, it has. I'm not surprised at all. Yeah, I was really hoping this was going to be like a smooth sailing type video, but this is MJD after all, and we always seem to run into some sort of roadblock, at least one in like every video. Luckily, in the last video, the roadblock was solved by this unofficial service pack. So this thing works because it was able to fix the problem of me not being able to connect to the NAS in that video. In fact, I'm curious now. I wonder if, well, I'm going to have to log out here because I have to log in with the admin and admin credentials. So let's just go here. We'll end task, Alt-E, yes. And we have to log in to Microsoft Networking with the username admin and the password admin. Okay, so I should be able to go open up run and / 10.50.227.133/home. Hey, there we go. So that works. So that patch installed, which is great. So yeah, like I said, I mean, some things installed, some things didn't. Those core files and probably the majority of the pack wasn't able to install. There you go, guys. That's my look at the Windows 98 Unofficial Service Pack 3. In theory, it sounds like a really cool piece of software, and like I said, some parts of it work. But in this case here, you saw we were not able to get the entire thing working, which is very unfortunate. But like I always say, these things happen from time to time on this channel where a video does not end up the way that we all probably wanted it to. But hopefully you enjoyed this one nonetheless. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below and turn on those channel notifications if you haven't already to get notified whenever I upload a new video, which I do multiple times every single week on this channel. In fact, I've got another one planned, and well, you might be able to tell what it's about if you know how big that this 7Z file is. So if you guys, yeah, just stay tuned to the channel. And as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.